The premier team in America, I have their largest reel.
That's nuts.
A farm kid from Indiana.
How do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? Can I do the right inputs that are going to eventually get me my outputs?
Lord, do not let me move from this chair until you bring the fire and the resolve back to be this type of a man.
In a perfect world, you're visioning the scenario. What do you have to do to get into the World Cup? From South Bend to Evansville and everywhere in between, this is Get In, the show focused on the Hoosier State and the incredible stories happening here today. I'm Nate Spengel, founder of Get Indiana, and I will be your host for today's conversation. Aberdeen is Indiana's first agri-hood and wellness lifestyle community, an upscale neighborhood in Center Grove built with one thing in mind: connection. The whole place is designed to bring people together. One of my favorite traditions they've started, the newest residents to move in get a welcome crate from the last family who moved in, full of fresh produce from the neighborhood farm, a few housewarming gifts, and a letter from the developer. That simple gesture sparks real connection, neighbors meeting, and real friendships forming. This isn't just about elegant homes. It's about living in a place where people actually know and care about each other. Learn more at aberdeenliving.com. My guest today is Zach Duke. He is an Indiana native, father of 5, who, after playing NCAA Division I football as a wide receiver at Liberty University, transitioned in early 2023 into learning soccer and is publicly chasing the goal of playing in the 2026 FIFA World Cup. He uses his social platform identity, World Cup Dad, to document his journey in faith, fitness, and sport, aiming to inspire men, husbands, and fathers, especially in his Indiana community, to push past comfort zones and live with purpose. I'm really excited to dive into this journey that took you from Anderson University out to Liberty and now to a global, worldwide platform pursuing the goal of playing in the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Zach, welcome to the show.
Hey, so honored to be here. Thank you.
Like, sadly addicted to the internet, this is part of the job,
Yep,
right?
yep.
Has probably seen one of your videos where you put it out to the world that, hey, I'm on a mission to play in the 2026 FIFA World Cup,
Yeah.
which is kind of an audacious, wildly ambitious goal that a lot of people would be like, okay, relax. Or maybe people think oh yeah, this guy probably played soccer his entire life. Little did we know, you're an ex-football player.
Yep. American football, that is, right?
Yeah, American football. Before we dive into this journey of World Cup Dad, the Instagram, growing the social profiles, I think we have to talk about taking risks and the path that led you here. So you went to Anderson University for 2 years where you were on the football team there. And at some point during your college career, you decided to make a large change. Let's kind of start the story there.
Yeah, no, that's a great place because, it's the risks along the way that kind of shaped who I am and just as a person, as a father. So at Anderson, it's an incredible school. The friends I'm still friends with today, lifelong friends, amazing team that I played for there. Everything was wonderful at Anderson, literally nothing but beautiful things to say about it. There came a time in my sophomore year where just Liberty University kept getting put on my heart, and I kept shaking it off, but I couldn't. It just week after week it was there. And I just spent a lot of time praying about it and talking to mentors and counselors. And they just said, if this is something that you just can't shake, you really need to consider doing it. And so after a lot of deliberate prayer, I just decided, you know what, I'm going to do it. And I started sharing it with my friends and coaches, and it was genuinely hard. At that time, the hardest thing I'd ever done.
Were you playing?
Yeah, so I played my freshman year, sophomore year as a receiver for the team, and just incredible, 2 great seasons, both for myself and for the team. So it was a amazing experience. So I know it was shocking for people that I made that transition.
And then you said, hey, I'm gonna go out there. So obviously you go through the normal transfer procedure, right? And
Kind of, yeah. I mean, not really. I went and I got my transcripts and I withdrew from Anderson, and with my mom and I believe my aunt drove 10 hours down to Lynchburg, Virginia to Liberty. They didn't even know I was coming. I wasn't even enrolled in the school. So it was quite the crazy risk. And I just showed up on campus. I didn't know where to go. And this lady saw me in the parking lot. And she saw that I was I was probably crying, honestly, definitely feeling what am I doing? And I told her what was going on. She said, okay, come with me. So we walk into this building and I see that we go to the registrar. I'm like, okay, this is the right spot. But then she bypasses the counter. I'm like, okay, that's crazy. So she goes back to the back offices. She takes me right to the dean's office of the registrar. And then she sits in the seat. She was the dean, which is crazy. The first person I meet on campus is the dean of the registrar. She sits down. I give her my transcripts. She enrolls me into the school. She asks me what major I want to do. She gets my housing set up. She emails all of my professors.
What was like the conversation with your parents? You just show up at this place, you know, they're like, okay, see you later. Like,
you know, it was definitely a challenge for my parents, rightfully so.
Did no one say like, hey, maybe you should call ahead of time?
Honestly, I'm trying to remember. It's been a while now. I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, I'll just show up.
Yeah,
right?
I just went in faith, but I know for sure I was not enrolled until I showed up.
Wow. So you go down there and you happen to get introduced to the registrar, like the dean of the registrar's office.
Met in the parking lot.
Crazy. You get enrolled. Where do they put you in a dorm?
Yeah, so they got my dorm all set up, and then I was 2 weeks late to school. I missed the beginning of the semester. They emailed all my professors saying, hey, he's 2 weeks late. Don't start anything in the last 2 weeks. Just start him day one today. Like, so it was miraculous. It was crazy. So from
that is nuts.
From moment number one, I'm like, I'm supposed to be here.
Where's Liberty at?
It's in central Virginia, like right nestled between the Blue Ridge Mountains. Beautiful, beautiful campus.
Okay, so now you're a student at Liberty. You got to go out. Like, I'm assuming there's not that many people from Indiana that go to Liberty.
You know, obviously not as much as the schools here, but there's a decent amount.
Like, how'd you make friends?
I knew a few people that were there, and so on the dorm where I was, I actually knew, I want to say one, maybe two people.
Did you just get like assigned a random roommate?
I did, yeah.
Like that guy's, whoever it was probably like, oh yeah, I got a whole room to myself.
He did. He had his room, and then all of a sudden I come in.
2 weeks in, they're like, who the heck is this guy?
His name was Brandon. He was the most chill person ever. So I'm very thankful that he accommodated me coming in late.
So you come in there, and now you're, getting up and running with school, and I mean, this is the fall semester, correct?
I transferred January.
Oh, so it's spring.
Yeah.
So you have a whole semester. You're out there, like getting used to it. And was it weird to transition away from football?
It was. Like when I left Anderson, I'm like, I'm done with football. I'm going here. I'm just going to work on my studies. I'm just going to work on who I'm going to be for the rest of my life. I'm like, that chapter's over. But that only lasted a couple weeks. So a couple weeks in, my roommate was like, hey, you played football at Anderson, right? I'm like, yeah. He's like, you should email the coach and ask if you can walk on. I'm like, no, they already had tryouts. It's too late. And I don't even want to play. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? I might not ever have this chance again to even have a shot. Like, I don't want to look back thinking, what if I could have played Division I football? I would rather be told no than wonder if I could have. And so I emailed the coach 11 at night. He emailed me back 7 minutes later at 11:07, say, we already had tryouts, but I'll do a private tryout with you with our receiver coach if you can come on Friday. And so I came and did well and put me on the team.
Wow.
It blew my mind.
So like, and that's like 2 weeks, 3 weeks into your time at Liberty?
Something like that. It was the first month for
and
sure.
How like another one of these moments where your roommate happens to suggest it and like is the domino that, you know what, I'll email the guy.
Yeah. And I remember my very first practice, we were doing what they called basic training in the weight room, which was just absolutely brutal. But I just had the biggest smile on my face. I'm like, I will do however many burpees and push-ups you want me to do. I'm playing Division I football. Like, this is a dream come true. And so just the perspective I had from not playing that my first 2 years to getting this opportunity just filled me with a lot of gratitude.
Do you think that it was like you didn't think you could do it? Like at first you transferred to Liberty and you're like, I was a D3 player. This is Division I. Like, if I don't really put myself out there, then I don't have to risk getting told no. And then the right things happen and you're like, you know what? I'll just take a shot at it.
Yeah, all those thoughts.
Have you always been a risk taker like that?
I have, and most of my life, I remember the first time in my life I started taking risks. I actually wrote down what's called the impossible prayer list. And I just wrote down all the prayers that are impossible for me, but possible with God. And that just became like a normal thing in my life. Is like, what is a prayer that can only come true if God comes through? And so that and then I kept seeing them happen. And so I kept asking bigger and bigger and bigger things, and God kept coming through.
Wait, take me through the impossible prayer list.
Yeah.
So this is a list of like big things that could only happen with the help of God.
Yeah.
So you like wrote down a list of things.
Yeah. It was like one page, and to be honest, I don't remember what any of them are besides maybe like a godly, incredible wife. I'm sure I put something on there like that.
Yeah, or you talk about like being a D3 player, playing Division I
for
football,
sure,
like
stuff like that.
Yeah,
and so, but what's crazy is even though I was a risk taker, I was always afraid. I always felt like I battled cowardice, but I confronted it by doing it anyway. And just taking the risk. I would always show up scared. I would always show up afraid, but I would show up anyway.
Yeah. What's your advice? Or if people are out there thinking like, oh, I want to take the risk, whether it is, to put themselves out there, quit their job and start a business, or, maybe have that conversation that's been looming over them that they haven't brought themselves to have.
Yeah.
What do you think about as you go through these times where you have to put yourself out there?
Yeah, I have a simple way that I think about it that works for me. One thing I do is I look out 50 years in advance and I say, what would I tell myself 50 years from now about this moment? Would it seem like this is a big deal? Would this be worth the risk? And would the regret of not trying be greater than failing? And that's kind of my immediate thought process. And if it's worth even failing, then why would I not try it? Because you can learn from that. Like the only way you lose is if you quit.
Yeah, and think about like the times in which you have failed. Has it ever been as bad as your imagination thought it was going to be?
Never is. And
never once.
That's the facade smokescreen of failure, is that it puts on your identity that you are a failure, but that's not true. You might have failed, but you are not a failure. And I think that's the big thing that holds people back, is they don't want to be perceived either personally or by others as a failure.
Yeah, and it definitely keeps people, they're like, oh, if I don't try, if I don't put myself out there, then I never have to fail, because that would be hard and that would hurt my ego.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so time advances on. You're playing Division I football at Liberty.
Yeah.
Are you like on the team like, oh, it's nice, this guy, good dude, D3 guy comes and gets a chance, pick up our water bottles, or like, do you actually get the opportunity to play?
I got the opportunity to play, not as much as I would like, just being a walk-on, but in my very first year being eligible there, like I made the 53 travel roster out of the 110 people on the team, which was huge. And so that most walk-ons didn't even get to do that.
No, most walk-ons are like catch the field goal kickers. Like that's what. No, I was on the team at DePaul, and like I spent a lot of time shagging balls for kickers.
Right. No, I had a thank you to the Lord, but I had so much respect from my teammates.
Yeah.
Like I remember all my teammates saying, "Man, your catching ability's 99 on Madden."
Yeah.
And that was just something. I'm not a big guy, so I took a lot of pride in. I don't care how hard you're going to hit me. I'm going to catch that darn ball. I'm going to catch it. I'm going to hand it to you, and I'm going to tell you to hit me harder.
Yeah.
And so that was just kind of like the one thing I could control is catching the ball. But at the same time too, I think what endeared me a lot to my teammates is we every Monday night we would just have a Bible study on the team, and I would just invite my teammates, and I wasn't teaching, I wasn't preaching. It was just team discussion, and that really bonded us together as a team, and so just even on and off the field stuff. Really, I mean, these guys are some of my closest friends, even still today.
Yeah. And so you end up getting to play, which is crazy, going from D3 to walk on to getting the 53-man travel roster. Incredible. You end up winning 2 awards, I believe, during your time there.
The one I won for sure is the Mac Rivera Rock Royer Award.
Okay, that's all one. Okay,
it's just one word.
We had Rock Royer Mac Rivera.
That's just one award.
That's one award. I was like, oh, I didn't know.
I'm like, am I forgetting one?
No. So one award, the Mac Rivera Rock Royer Award.
Yep.
What does that mean?
So that's the top award that Liberty gives out to any student athlete. So it's for all sports, and it's the one that's for athletic, academic, and spiritual achievement. And so it's the only one they award like in front of the whole student body. And I'm pretty sure I'm the first non-starter to ever win it. Which again doesn't make sense.
Like D3 walk on, man, you're the guy.
So I was humbled and honored, and honestly, I had to fight the imposter syndrome that I don't deserve this. You know? And so I even shared that with the people that nominated me, and they're like, no, you deserve this more than anybody. But that's something I have to fight constantly. Just one of my internal battles is you don't deserve this. So that's always been a struggle.
Your time playing football at Liberty wraps up in 2011?
2010.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. And you graduate in 2011.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. So you graduate in 2011. There's this time. I mean, there's a decade. There's a decade between
almost 15 years.
Yeah, between 2010 and where things start to really heat up again, and like this like revival of putting yourself out there. Talk to me about what goes on during that next 10-year span from the moment you leave Liberty, where you had been putting yourself out there, taking risks, taking chances, until the genesis of World Cup Dad?
One of the biggest changes in my life, 2012, married Megan, my amazing wife of 13 years now. We met at Liberty. So that's another amazing reason why I went to Liberty, was getting to meet her. But she got a job at a church in Dallas. And so after I actually lived in India for a little bit doing mission work there. When I moved back to America, I'm like, I got to go to Dallas or else I'm not going to be able to marry this woman.
India.
I
thought you said Indy, like Indianapolis.
No,
so
India.
You lived in India doing mission work.
Yep. So I was there it was like my final semester, like study abroad type thing that I was doing there. And then moved back to Dallas and worked for an amazing company called, I think they're actually in a lot of schools in Indiana, but Boosterthon, like they'll do character development and fun runs at schools.
Okay, yeah.
And so I did that for a year and a half. My brother did as well. And then I took a position as a missions pastor staff at one of the largest Baptist churches in the world called Prestonwood.
Okay.
My wife was a worship leader there. So long story short, in this season, we're not making much money at all. We're living in an apartment, but then we can't even afford that. So we had, in a span of 2 years, 2 families bring us in. So that was another huge moment, as we had 2 families that allowed us to live with them in their home for our first 2 years of marriage. So that was a huge miracle blessing, and gave us a car.
What?
And we didn't ask for any of that. And so just even living by faith, taking risks in that season, just seeing that the Lord continued to provide. But in that season, in around 2014, I started getting really sick. And by really sick, I mean nauseous every single day, from morning till night, getting ER visits, coming to find out like my stomach was completely swollen. I couldn't work out. I couldn't even drink water, couldn't eat any food without being so sick. And so that's kind of when the spiral happened. I didn't mean to get out of shape and habits and disciplines, but my health was so wrecked that my mental abilities, my physical abilities just deteriorated rapidly.
What the world? Okay, what was it?
I'm trying to remember the actual term. Not maybe it's gastritis, but whatever the swelling of the stomach was.
What?
And so it was.
So like when you say get out of shape too, you're like an ex-Division I football player.
Yeah.
Like what does get out of shape mean for that?
So like I was, when I was playing football at my peak, I was like 198 pounds, but that was like 5% body fat, like legitimately.
Like shredded up,
like 100%. But now I'm 200 pounds and like 25% body fat.
Oh wow! So yeah, lost some muscle, put on some.
Yeah, so I'm looking pretty chubby.
Yeah,
at this time, and I'm just like mentally, I'm just like I'm getting to the point where I'm grieving that this is going to be how I am the rest of my life. I won't be able to play with my kids. I can't enjoy sports with my kids. I legit could not even do a push-up without getting nauseous. One push-up, couldn't do it. And so I just got to this. I was just bankrupt in my mind. I couldn't travel without getting sick, and that was largely my job, was doing a lot of traveling and leadership development, training, and missions work. I couldn't do that without being doubled over on a toilet. And so I couldn't look at myself in my mirror, like with my moon face and swollen and bad habits, and couldn't, like insomnia. I would go to bed at 10 and couldn't fall asleep till 4, and would feel like I'm having a heart attack and panic attacks just about every night for about 4 years. What? I mean, it was brutal, and more than I've really shared publicly, minus a few close friends. I mean, it was hard.
This is the guy who was the star football player, and then you go and level up that, and you go to Division I, and you're like getting this award for being such a high achieving scholar, athlete, and also having a great faith component there, and you find yourself just experiencing a lot of adversity there.
Yeah, like what I was feeling was despair, depression, discouragement.
And it's interesting that like you go from not being afraid to fail to like thinking this is the rest of my life.
That's exactly it. Like this is the rest of my life. There's no coming back from this. There's no bouncing back. I just have to accept that this is it. And that was devastating.
Who were you talking to about this, like during this time? Who were you trusting in?
A few close friends, a few mentors, my parents, but that was really it. And then doctors.
And it, obviously, faith is a huge component of your journey here. And it's like, did you ever get into that moment of like, why am I being tested this way? Constantly.
Oh yeah. I mean, one thing that I've always tried to be with God is just honest, because he's big enough to handle it. He's not afraid of my mess or anyone's mess. And so I would just, he's okay with me being angry. and being big enough to take it. And so I just always would just be honest with him about how I'm feeling and what's going on. And even in that time, I never felt like he left me, never felt like he was punishing me. And I just, every day, I'm like, I just need to trust you today. And then wake up the next day, I just need to trust you today. But it was a battle.
But it's like, it's hard to say that on one side and then feel just so hopeless on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, that itself felt like an impossible uphill battle. It
So
really
like,
did.
where does this all come to a head and a culmination at?
Yeah, I mean, the whole health journey is one thing. To put that simply, a couple things really helped. I went to actually a holistic doctor up in the Carmel area named Dr. Pabla, did blood tests, found some things that I was allergic to, massively changed my diet. So that was one.
Okay, wait, take me like through diet changes. What is that? Like, where go from what to what?
Well, I found out one thing was I was extremely allergic to dairy, specifically American dairy. It's interesting. You know, if I go overseas, I can drink their milk all day. But the way that it's like processed and pasteurized here, my body, like within seconds, I'm sick. Within seconds. And I still can't do dairy.
No ice cream?
It has got to be dairy free. So go with the cashew milk.
That's not ice cream.
It's not. It's
no,
not.
yeah, that's okay. So no dairy.
Yeah,
You
so
end up having
no
to cut that out.
dairy. I cut out pretty much all gluten, all processed foods. And essentially it was just like a whole food, whole ingredient diet.
Okay, so like you go like, what is like a dinner? Like what, when you figure this out and decide to make this change,
Yeah.
what do you start having for dinner?
Like grilled chicken, not grilled in any bad oils, like avocado oil, and broccoli grilled in the same, sweet potato. So really, really good food that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
But I
That's
just,
not like that crazy, but I feel like
it was the snacking that I
Yeah.
didn't know was killing me and had killed me over a long period of time, to the point where even if it took me 2 years of eating healthy to even change. It wasn't overnight because it had done so much
And
damage.
how did you know to keep doing this if it took so long? I think that's the other piece. Everyone like wants to change their diet and then expect that it.
I didn't have a choice.
That's fair.
You know, it was either this or live like this. And so that was one component. And then another one is I just spent more time than ever just in prayer. And I remember a specific moment that I think was probably the turning point. I was in the middle of a panic attack. And if anyone's have panic attacks, they will relate with this, because before that, I thought it was fake. I'm like, that's not real. But it is so real. It's uncontrollable. It comes on and you feel like you're having a heart attack. You feel like you can't breathe. And it is legitimately scary. And in the middle of it, I'm getting that I'm going to die feeling again. And I just start crying out to Jesus as loud as I can in my living room. And I just felt the Holy Spirit speak to me saying, I'm right here with you. I'm going to be with you, and you're not going to die. And for whatever reason in that moment, I just like really believed it. And even though I couldn't hardly breathe, I just started worshiping God. And it didn't take it away. Like the panic attack went through like another probably 20 minutes, and I haven't had one since. It was the last one I had. And I feel like my healing journey and my stomach being healed even started from that moment.
What year, what like roughly time frame was that?
That would have been around 2018 or 19. That's
so the
when
health
that started.
journey starts to turn around a little bit. Where along like the changing the diet and all this did you like start to feel better?
2020.
So it took another like year or more,
easy.
incremental. Maybe you're getting a little bit better,
Yeah.
but like, was there a moment where maybe you could be more athletic, or you could go like, were you in the gym? Were you working out?
So that's a great question. I still couldn't even really work out then. Like my stomach would hurt if I did that. So it probably wasn't until 2022 where I could begin to even work out without pain. Dang. And by that time too, if almost every day in the shower, if I would bend over, my knee would give out. Like I couldn't do a single squat without my knees giving out. So my body was like broken and in bad shape.
This is wild.
And so
okay.
now my knees feel about 15 years younger just because of what I've done the last 3 years.
And so we need to get into this point. So the stomach starts to heal up. You start to feel better, like physically?
I start to physically feel better, still not sleeping great, and still in horrible shape. But because of all these years, I now have like really bad personal disciplines and really bad mental disciplines. And so like I'm still going in the wrong direction that way.
So a part of your Instagram bio says like you start rock bottom.
Yep.
Take me to the exact moment of rock bottom.
Yep. So it was December, I want to say 22nd of 2022. I'm in Virginia. That's where my in-laws live. And so I was there for Christmas. and I'm sitting in a coffee shop called Doppio Bunny. And I went there because I'm just like, I need a moment where I can just do reflection on my life and make a change.
Yeah, I mean, like funny, like rock bottom at the in-laws' house, like that probably checks out, right?
don't tell my mother-in-law.
That's my quote, not his. That's my quote, not Zach's.
So I'm listening. I sit there. I'm like, all right, I need to listen to an inspiring podcast that can really help me, because in this moment, for whatever reason, it just hit me that I don't like who I'm becoming. I don't like the habits I have as a father, as a husband.
How many kids do you have at this point? 2022.
Four
kids.
Yep.
4 kids, and you don't like the daily habits, the mental, like the whole thing. This is rock bottom.
Yeah, I just feel like, and my life was great by most respects. Like I can't even say that it wasn't, but I did not like who I was becoming internally. I didn't like my mentality. I didn't like my habits, my disciplines, and I didn't like if I looked out years into my life of being a husband and father, I did not like the trajectory. Like, it bothered me deeply.
High achievers have this like innate drive to, and somebody can be like over perfection and like, they're really focused on that, but like they know when they're not, like things aren't their standard.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm saying.
100%.
Because it's like you could look at it and be like, oh my gosh, you have a good job and a great family and kids. And it's like, yes, but like, am I giving every day everything that I have?
Yeah, and that's the perfect point, because I wasn't comparing my life to others. I was comparing it to the standard that I know I should be living up to, that I had the ability to do. And it's a horrible feeling when you know that you're not reaching what you're able to do.
Yeah, and it's like, I think sometimes people are like, oh, well, you're still doing a lot, or whatever. But it's like, I know that I should be waking up earlier, going to the gym, or doing whatever those like personal habits are. And it's like, it's not necessarily that you're letting someone else down. It's like, hey, I'm letting myself down by not living up to my potential.
That's exactly it. That's exactly.
So you're listening. What's the podcast?
Yeah, so it's a podcast called Dad Work. It's funny because I didn't know the guy at the time. Now he's a friend of mine. But it's this podcast. The tagline's amazing. It's equipped to lead, easy to love, and hard to kill. Which, like, every dad wants that,
Wait, say that again.
Equipped to lead, easy to love, and hard to kill.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
it's baller.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so he had a guest on that day, and it was the perfect concoction for me. So this guest was on saying, why have we of dads accepted the dad bod? Why have we accepted the status quo of what it means to be a typical American father? Where are the dads that are willing to push themselves to the literal edge, to even know what their limit is, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually? Like, where are the few warriors that's going to chart that path for their wife and for their kids and for their generations? And I'm constantly thinking about generations, my grandkids, my great-grandkids, and I'm like, what type of legacy is Zach Duke? What I got, like, not even the rest of the world, but just for my family, my generations, what will they say of me? And so it was like a lightning bolt moment where I just asked the Lord. I prayed a dangerous prayer. I said, Lord, do not let me move from this chair until you bring the fire and the resolve back to be this type of a man. And it was literally a lightning bolt moment. And so the resolve just came back right then and there.
But I think that like a lot of people get really motivated.
Yep.
And motivation is fleeting.
So fleeting.
Whether it's, oh my gosh, like a podcast like this, or it's like the David Goggins side of things. Like, you can listen to this book and get really fired up for a week or two, or maybe like a month. But like,
it's unsustainable.
Motivation is fleeting, and it's these habits. It's discipline and figuring out how to, become that person.
Yep.
So take me through how you went from motivation to discipline.
Yeah, I mean, that's the question, what's it going to take? And even in that moment, I didn't put any stock in motivation, because that was the continual loop, right? That you go in, it just doesn't work.
It's like gym memberships January.
Yeah,
like
it doesn't work.
By January 15th, it's like, all right, I'm out on this.
Yep. And so in that moment, kind of what happened was I began thinking about my time at Liberty and how during football, it was my best disciplines, from sleep to working out to mental clarity. And there's something about where you're doing so much that actually makes you better at time management. And, and so I'm like, but I don't want to play football. Like that ship has sailed. and so as I was praying, the Lord just brought a crazier idea, which was soccer. And I remember thinking that is the dumbest idea ever. I've never played before. But the more I thought about it, a couple things started to happen. One, I was going to South Asia that next month to be with one of the former FIFA directors of the region, who is now using soccer as leadership development in underprivileged communities. Like, okay, so this is a global sport, access to any place in the world. The World Cup's coming here in 2026, Copa America, Club World Cup, Olympics in 28. And so it's one of the national, like you can, if you speak soccer, you speak every language in the world. And with our refugees, with internationals, with every community, you can go in and have influence to change lives through the sport of soccer. So I'm like, okay, there's a huge thing. And the second thing is I really enjoy learning something new. And soccer's a sport that I absolutely suck at, never played. And that excited me. I'm like, okay, here's something I can actually see progress in. And I can actually set disciplines in.
How does someone get over the mental barrier of sucking at something? A lot of people refuse because they're like, why would I want to spend time? Like, I'm an adult. I get done with work and I'm like, why would I want to go take up something new that I'm not very good at and like even put myself out there?
Yeah, I think that is one of the biggest hindrances for people, because when you suck at something, the big fear is others will see you suck. Yeah. That's a huge barrier, because you want to see that you can do something well. But that is the cost of entry. The cost of entry to become good at anything is to first suck at it. And so one of my mentors told me, not in regards to soccer, but in like leadership development and coaching and training, he's like, Zach, you really do suck, but you suck a lot less than you used to. And so just realizing that if you don't give up practicing something, you will get better. And so just taking, just accepting that you're going to suck in the beginning, that people will laugh, you will be humiliated. So day number one, I actually wrote this down, that people would laugh at me. I would be humiliated. It would be embarrassing. I would be afraid. Will I do it anyway? So like I thought of all those things and wrote them down on day one, and just agreed that I was willing to pay that price to do it.
And I think that, again, it's just this little voice in our minds that are like, oh my gosh, like so-and-so is going to see me miss this kick or whatever and be bad. And then they're going to think so negatively of me. And it's like, then you grow, like, I think as you get older, you realize like, I don't know, how many times have I seen an adult try something and been like, and really lingered on like thinking about them. Like, oh yeah, I remember that guy at the gym. Like, it's like, no, like no one, like they might see it and chuckle or whatever, but they move on. Like it's so fleeting.
And I would say too, I would say who cares? But I don't mean that in the David Goggins version. I mean it in, it needs to be actually put in the right priority. Because what I do care about first is what the Lord thinks of me, and then my wife Megan, and then my kids. And if those things are good and others think negatively, but they're doing great, then my priorities are in order.
But a lot of times, like the average kid is pretty indifferent. I feel like,
most of them are.
Like most of them are indifferent. They're like
they're focused on themselves anyway.
Yeah, and they don't know any better. But it's like, but now they'll think something. Yeah, like they'll think that that's a little interesting and weird. But then one day it'll probably grow to like really appreciate that. And you kind of foreshadow that of like you're already seeing them being willing to put themselves out there.
Go watch Mr. Beast's first videos or any major YouTuber.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Dude, perfect, right? Like they started somewhere and they're incredible now, but they're embarrassed by their first videos.
Dude, everyone is. Like I go back on even my profile, I've been posting for like 2.5 years or whatever. They are horrible. They're so bad. And my friends were like, this is an interesting piece. My friends were very much, they're the best. They're very supportive. But they were also like, bro's trying to be an influencer. Like, what are we doing here? The people who love you and care about you don't want you to fail.
Right.
So they're like extra protective. Like, are you sure this is a good idea? Like, you really sure you want to do this? Because they don't want to see you fail. And sometimes it is them like being negative Nancy's or this, that, the other thing. But a lot of times it's like they just don't want to see you hurt and fail. So they're like, just don't do that. Don't try that. Yeah. And once you like, I don't know what the mental barrier is there. But once you can get over that, just be like, oh, I'm going to try new things all the time and not be very good at it. And I'm going to laugh about it myself because I don't take it that seriously, but I'm going to get better at it. And I really enjoy it. I love being in these uncomfortable situations. Yeah. It's really hard to train yourself to like flex that muscle.
Yeah. I mean, it's only in the place of uncomfortability where you can grow. That's the growth zone. Yeah. So if you're unwilling to step outside that gate, you're just not going to grow. And I think that's the lie is like, hey, it's safer over here. And on one side, it's true. It is 100% safer to stay on the shore and not get on the boat and go out to sea. But then you're never discovering new lands. You're never discovering what you're capable of. You're never going to new places. And so I think it's 100% safer to do this. And so most of the time, it's well-meaning for what people are saying.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think we can show grace to people who have different opinions and still pursue our dreams and goals, even if we fail.
Yeah. So soccer gets put on your heart.
Yep. So soccer gets put on my heart. And so then I begin thinking, okay, well, what's it going to take to actually bring that transformation and change? Like, well, if I tell myself I want to be semi-pro, that's not going to make me wake up at 4 a.m. every morning and start training like a madman. Like, it just, for me, maybe for others, but for me, that won't do it. So I'm like, I need the absolute most outrageous, hardest goal possible that's going to push myself to become the best man, husband, father, and soccer player that I can in the shortest amount possible. And so that's why I chose, like, you know what, I'm going to shoot for the World Cup in 2026. And I've had people say, like, do you mean it? Is it a gimmick? I 100% mean it. I also 100% know it's not up to me, that the odds is more likely to win the Powerball ticket. Like, I understand all of that. And I ran the odds from the beginning. It was 1 in 800 million odds. Like, that's not great. But what I thought about, is it worth it to try anyway? And so I tell people all the time, like, hey, even if you're going to fail, even if you're not going to make it, but if you're willing to put in the work, then you're going to go so much farther than you could ever imagine. Even if you don't reach that ultimate goal, you're still going to be so much farther than you can ever imagine if you focus on doing it the best you can, the most efficient way possible, condensing time and space to push yourself. And that's why I've my wife and I, like, we talk about how we've already won. If everything stopped right now, we've already won 100 times over.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like the classic, like, what is it? Like, the cliche is like, shoot for the stars, you'll land on the moon,
Yep.
you know? Like, and it is true. It is, I mean, the cliche is
It's corny, but true.
Yeah. Looking for a new place to call home? JC Hart Company has been helping Hoosiers find their perfect fit for 50 years. From Hamilton County to downtown Indy to Bloomington and everywhere in between, they've got over 30 communities plus 7 brand new luxury spots. So there's something for every lifestyle. Every community is designed to make life easier and more enjoyable, and the friendly property management teams are ready to help you find the home that's just right for you. Or are you thinking about a career in property management? JC Hart is not just a great place to live, it's also one of Indiana's best places to work. Check out the open positions on their website at homeisjchart.com to see how you can join the team. Want a peek into life as a resident or team member? Follow them on Instagram at homeisjchart or head to homeisjchart.com to explore locations, careers, and more. JC Hart Company, where your next home sweet home is waiting. What did the process look like? Like, if you're like in a perfect world and you're visioning the scenario, what did you have to do to get, and what do you have to do to get into the World Cup?
Yeah, I mean, if you just focus on the macro goal, it's going to crush you. So I had to break it up into micro goals. And so I started thinking in 3-month increments, and I broke it up even smaller to 1-week increments. And so that was the secret sauce for me, is I made it was 12 to 15 different habits, daily habits I was going to track and check every single day. And I've done it faithfully. And so, like, I would track when I would go to bed, when I would wake up, if I did my morning routine, if I did my training, if I did my weight room, if I was I called it dad up, if I was a good dad and husband for the day, if I learned something new. So I checked off all these habits every day, and I just knew if I did these things every day consistently, I would maximize my growth. I made my entire journey not about making teams, not about getting noticed, but about maximizing growth, focusing on these disciplines. And I told myself, I'm not shooting for perfection, I'm shooting for growth. So, like, the first week, I think I did it like 81% correct, or all my habits. And so next week, I'm not shooting for 100, I just want to be 81. And so it kind of gamified it for me, and it made me focus on the habits and the disciplines and not on the achievements. We can't make achievements or results happen, but we can focus on the growth and the process. And so I just honed in entirely on what my process was going to be. And I never would have thought what happened next would come to pass, but it ended up being the right method.
How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And so it's just and I think this is the piece too, whether it's building a business, putting out content or training, too often we get focused on the thing at the end.
That's right.
And it's the dominoes. It's like, line the next one up, take that one down. If you're running a marathon, it's ran by the course of 50,000 steps or whatever, 40,000 steps, something like that, right? So it's just getting the next one and the next one and the next one and getting a little bit better. And that way, you think about after the first of the year, when everyone has a new gym membership, they're not thinking about being 30 pounds down.
Yep.
They're just worried about, can I get to the gym? Can I do the right inputs that are going to eventually get me my outputs?
Yep.
So how did you know that this was starting to work?
I knew that it started to work first for my body before soccer, because, man, I was bad. Like, if you go back, watch my first videos, like, this guy is clearly never, why is this 34-year-old trying to play soccer? But 3 months in, I started noticing my body changing, my knees getting stronger, my joints getting stronger, my athleticism coming back. And so just a little momentum, like a little snowball rolling downhill, that made me want to dig in even more.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is for the first 5 months, pretty much no one knew I was doing this. My social media was at zero.
Well, I mean, and also where did that point in of documenting and tracking this whole thing?
Day number one. And I did that for a very specific reason, which was accountability. Like, I wasn't trying to go viral. I still don't want to be an influencer. Like, it's just it's not who I am personally. That doesn't mean that I won't, be with aligned brands. I'm not saying I reject all of that, because there's a real space for that. It's just not my personality. But what I did know is if I did not put my goal out there, then I could quit in the dark and no one would know. I'm like, well, you know what? I tried. I wanted to give myself every reason to not make an excuse.
Yeah.
To put it out there. And so for 5 months, no one saw it. No one cared. And so I think most people would have quit within those 5 months when there was no traction and you absolutely stink. But thankfully I just didn't give up.
So you keep going. You're documenting the journey. You're putting it out there, you're recording, you're in the gym, you're working. Where was the moment where you felt like, okay, I'm starting to see the fruits of this labor?
That's been such a progression, mainly because I'm my biggest critic.
Yeah.
I've never thought, man, I can really play now, because at every level I've continued to play with better and better players. So
where was the first game you got into?
My very first game I played in was a Sunday league, a co-ed non-competitive league, and I was terrified. I mean, I'm playing in a non-competitive, unathletic. I don't say unathletic, but older. Just like 30s and 40s.
Yeah, they're just people out there
just having fun.
They're trying to get some steps in.
And I'm just like, if a ball comes at me, I'm freaking out. That's where I'm at. And I think that was like in April and May. And so for the first 3 months, I told myself I'm not going to play at all, because I just need to work on the basics. Period. And that whole first season of the non-competitive league, I mean, I was terrible.
Yeah.
I was so bad. And it probably wasn't until year 2 that I started to think, okay, I can begin to really do this.
Okay, so what did the step, you had to go from a non-competitive league to then getting in maybe a competitive men's league or something?
So kind of my 3 month that I kind of thought out from the beginning is like, okay, if this is going to happen to make the World Cup, I need to go from non-competitive to amateur to pro, to high-level pro, to give myself to even be selected by the national team. Even give myself a chance.
It does sound, when you lay it out like that, sounds pretty crazy.
It's insane. And so I played the non-competitive league, and then I joined an amateur league, which anybody can join. It's not like I got picked for it. Like, anyone can play in an amateur league as long as there's a spot. But then I had a pro team from Brazil find me on Instagram and say that they want to invest into my journey. They love my story. They love what I stand for. And I could come train with them for a month in Brazil with their pro team. And they covered the expenses. And so people accuse me of even pay to play. And it's like, one, I didn't pay to play. I've not paid to play at any stage of this whole journey, which I think is one of the miracles. But two, that's really inconsistent with every industry in life. Whether you're a financial advisor or going to college or getting any type of certificate or real estate license, you have to pay for things, for access or for knowledge to begin to do a certain type of a job. And so I think, one, I didn't do that, but two, I think everyone really does that in the professions if they want to get anywhere anyway. In March of 24, I went to Brazil and got to train with a pro team. It was the very first professional soccer field in Brazil.
What?
It was it's a historic field.
That's nuts.
And I was terrified.
I mean, did you take your family over? What did this look like?
No, I went, and then a couple other guys went as well. And so we were with a team called Nacional, and we lived right outside the stadium and went and trained every day.
I mean, you've already won.
I've already won. I got to train.
How long did that take? How many years of posting content? Or how many?
Just over a year.
So you posted about something. You went on this year like journey, and you got to spend a year. And what were you doing for work at this time?
The same thing I'm doing now. So I work for an organization called Big Life, which is a missions agency. So I do disciple making and church planting, and I'm one of the global leaders catalyst for them, and I've been doing that since 2014.
And they're like, yeah, dude, like go spend a month in Brazil.
I mean, essentially, but what's amazing about Big Life, I would encourage anyone to go look them up, because what Big Life does is it's a lifestyle of following Jesus and helping others do the same. And they've got to watch me live now for over a decade, and they know everywhere I go, I'm going to make new disciples. I'm going to lead more people to Jesus. I'm going to be faithful where I am. So we actually led one of the coaches of the team to Christ and changed his life. So everywhere I've gone, that's been part of the mission.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go from getting to go to Brazil, you come back to America after that, and you're like, now are you like competitive when you're playing in games? Like, are you playing a lot of games? Like, take us through the like actual process of your development.
So right after Brazil, it was like a couple weeks later.
And like, did you get embarrassed by the guys in Brazil?
Honestly, no. I really
so
didn't.
after a year, you kind of could play.
Yeah.
You mean maybe not the star, but like you could play?
Yeah, I could play. Like we were training every day, and I was scoring goals. I was winning balls. I wasn't the best player by any means, but I was doing well.
Okay.
And to the point where I'm excited to go out in the field, and I'm getting better at decision making and passing.
And 12 months ago, he was scared about non-competitive.
Oh well, I was terrified to go there as well. Like showing up in Brazil, I'm like, what have I got myself into? Like these are Brazilians. Like these are the best of the best, and they are. Like everyone plays in Brazil.
Yeah.
It's like how basketball is in Indiana.
Yeah.
Soccer is big time in Brazil.
Yeah. Okay, so you're out there playing. You're holding your own.
Yeah, holding my own.
Yeah. If you score a goal on this is a pro Brazilian team.
Yeah.
Insanity.
So my favorite moment is like one of them was just like not mocking me, but like poking fun at me.
Yeah.
And I told him I'm gonna score on you, and I get the ball, go down to the goal, score on him, hand him the ball, kiss it, give it to him.
Yes.
But we were at the point where we were having fun with each other.
Yeah, and like at first, did you have to like get some trust from them of like, who is this? Like, why are we bringing this guy?
Totally. And that's been at every stage, and I've tried to make that a big point. Is like I understand because of my story and journey that it's not going to come across well to everybody that doesn't know me, and so I've made it a point everywhere I've gone, as best as I could in my ability, to go above and beyond in honoring them, honoring their journey, honoring the dedication that they put into it, and just genuinely building good relationships. Like I've made it a point to get to know people's lives and stories. And so that's made all the difference in the world.
So you come back from Brazil.
Yeah, come back from Brazil.
What is the next opportunity this leads to?
The next
would be
2024, yeah. And a couple weeks after that, I get a message from one of my close friends saying, hey, we have an extra spot on our TST team, which is the largest 7-on-7 tournament in the world. Like ESPN airs the
Was this the soccer tournament?
The soccer
TST?
tournament. Yeah, so I got asked to be on the Indiana Hoosier alumni team. And so I played they're called the Hoosier Army because they couldn't say Indiana Hoosiers, but it was the alumni team, which is the Alabama, a football. Indiana is for soccer.
Really?
They're the pinnacle of collegiate soccer. Is
I did not know that.
They're the best of the best. And so I'm a born and bred Hoosier fan. So it was absolutely wild to think, man, I'm playing on the IU alumni team. Like this is absolutely, this would be anybody's dream in the soccer world in America to get to play with IU. And so the fact that they gave me the opportunity was just amazing. And so that TST, like Pat McAfee's there, they're airing the show. Games are on ESPN. Some of the sport's best players were in this tournament. Like a guy named Aguero. He's Messi's best friend.
Oh,
Played for Argentina. Played for Manchester City. A guy named Nani.
These are like non-current pros.
Retired.
Retired.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that was a weird way to say.
There's both current pros and retired pros.
Playing in TST.
Yeah, both current and retired.
Oh wow.
Most of the current pros would be the pro indoor players, the major arena soccer league players.
Okay, but there's not like Lionel Messi is not in this
Correct.
league. Yeah,
Correct.
yeah. Okay.
But I mean, the fact that Aguero played in it is insane, and Nani, who is one of Ronaldo's friends, played for the national team of Portugal. He's like really big time players.
And then you out here, the Instagram guy.
And then little old me, just feeling like, why am I here? And which that's been my question at every stage. And then from there, it was about 2 months of nothing happening. And so I'm getting discouraged. And I think this is a really important piece that people, when they see my story, they think I'm just taking these big risks. But sometimes the biggest risk is to wait and to not force something. And so there was like several seasons where I've had to just wait and trust the Lord and not force something that, so I've never tried to manipulate a circumstance. And so I was fasting and praying one day in August, and the Lord put on my heart to call my friend Reggie. So Reggie went with me to Brazil. His whole story is crazy. Like it transformed his life by finding my story. Like it upended his life in the best way. So just one of the best examples of a life transformation from just knowing my story. But his brother is one of the best players to ever play in America. He played for the U.S. men's national team, played in the World Cup. And
who's his brother?
Maurice Adu is his brother.
Oh,
he's one of the commentators
Wait,
for Apple TV.
What's your friend's name?
Reggie Adu.
Is there a Freddie also?
That's so different Adu, and last name spelled differently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So not related, but yeah, Freddie Adu was amazing in his time.
Wasn't he
as
like
well.
a young, like the 16-year-old? Like
He was
a beast. Yeah, absolutely.
He was like a prodigy when he was younger.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I call Reggie and I'm like, hey, I just feel like I'm supposed to call you. And I'm fasting and I'm whatever's next in my soccer journey, I know that I'm supposed to ask you. And he goes, dude, this is crazy. I just started fasting today as well. And I was asking God, like, what am I supposed to do in this next season of my life? And then you called me. He's like, why don't you come out to California and we'll talk about this together. Can you come next week? I'm just like, absolutely, I'll come. So I come out there and we're talking through things. He's like, hey, you know what? One of my good friends, he's the GM of a pro team and he runs the U.S. pro United States team, like the pro indoor team. He's like, you want to sit up a lunch with him? I'm like, can you do that? He's like, yeah. So we go to Panera Bread, meet up with this awesome guy, and I just share my story. And he's like, yeah, I know who you are. I remember you from TST. And he's like, and your story is incredible. It's one of the most inspiring soccer stories I've ever heard. He's like, and honestly, I would just love to have you on our U.S. team. It's like, how would you feel if I put you on the roster? I'm just like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah, I'll put you on the roster. If you can be at the game at the end of September in 2025, I'll put you on the team. And so, of course, I said yes. And so I get back in the car with Reggie. I'm like, did that just happen? And Reggie's like, eyes as big as saucers. Like, bro, this stuff never happens. Like, that was insane. And so I end up playing for Team USA against Mexico out in LA.
Like, and when you say playing, are you playing?
So I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
I didn't think I was going to. I show up in the
You thought
locker
you're kind
room.
of like a figurehead. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I'm here to take Instagrams.
Yeah, I mean, I try to think of myself as a player, even though I know that there's that element to it as well. But like, I'm going there to be ready. And I like honestly, right before the game, I'm throwing up in the toilet. I'm so nervous, and I don't even know if I don't even think I'm playing. I'm just like, I have my U.S. jersey. I'm on the team. This guy played in the World Cup. This guy played, for Mexico in the World Cup and won a gold medal in the Olympics. And I'm like, why am I here? And then I get in the locker room and I'm on the play sheet. Like, oh crap.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So like I immediately, it's like my soul just left my body. Like I was just terrified. I'm like, this is insane. I'm in
Because
the
you
twilight
are
zone.
practicing with these guys and like earned your spot.
Well, I didn't think I was going to play.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a friendly, so it's not a game of consequence.
Yeah.
And so I think that's definitely one reason why they wanted to play me is because it wasn't going to harm them or the record or anything. But man,
And then like how'd the game go?
We ended up losing, I want to say by a point.
But like, are you getting put out there and just like people are just like, are you playing?
I was playing.
You're holding your own.
I would say I did okay. I didn't do bad. I didn't do great. Okay. And that was the only game of any game I've ever played where I don't remember playing. Like it was almost like I was watching myself from up above because I was in the twilight zone. It was just like, holy crap.
Where was the game at?
It was at Toyota Arena in Ontario, California.
In front of how many people?
5,000-6,000 people.
What?
Crazy.
This is nuts. Okay.
So from there,
yeah.
So the whole journey honestly has been one of faith beyond what I can like. It genuinely has because right before we go out of the tunnel, the team, as most teams do, like, hey, let's pray before we go out. And they looked at me and said, hey, Zach will pray. I'm like, yeah, I would love to pray. So I prayed for the team, and it was just a normal prayer, but I was just blessing each player and and praying just for protection and what have you. But they all looked at me afterwards and like, man, that prayer was different. And then after the game, they all came up to me again like, man, that prayer was different. And then I get invited from there to the Major Arena Soccer League Combine, where there's a draft at the end. That's like the pro indoor combine. And so again, I'm terrified as well. So I show up and it's like 3 days and you play like 3 or 4 games a day. So we were just dog tired. And then there's a draft on the final day, 3 rounds. And I'm thinking, who's going to draft me? I'm 30. I'm like 35 now. Why would anyone draft me when everyone else is so young here? And it was the same GM who also ran the USA team was there. And he texted me during the draft. And he's like, I'm going to pick you in the 3rd round if you're good for it. And I'm just like, what? Are you joking me? So they draft me and I go up on the podium again in the Twilight Zone. I'm like, I just got drafted professionally by a soccer team. And then my next thought is, what am I going to tell my wife? Because we got to play in California. And so they told me after the draft that one of the reasons they drafted me is because they saw how I was in the locker room at the Team USA game and how I was a leader and the way that the players immediately respected me, even as I just prayed and he wanted that on the team. And so you just never know what moments that people see that might open future doors that I would have never guessed. And all of that started from a prompting from the Holy Spirit to call Reggie. Like that's what
Dude,
that's been the story of the
drafted?
journey. I got drafted
Professionally. This isn't like this at that point, it's not just like an Instagram-y thing.
No.
It's not just like, oh, you're an influencer deal. Like you are legitimately on a professional indoor soccer team.
Yeah. So the way that works is you get drafted, but you still have to then make the team. So I show up to camp and they have like 50 players and I want to say like 30 make it on the team. And so they even told me like, hey, there's a good chance you won't make it, but come out anyway for at least 15 days for camp. I'm like, okay, I can tell my wife I can be out there for 15 days. But then the final day comes and they have the meeting set with me and they're making cuts and the GM's like, congratulations, you've made the cut. You're on the team. We'll work out all the contract stuff later. It's like, are you serious?
What?
Like, are you serious?
You make the 30-man team?
So I made the team. Yeah. This was insane.
Who are you? So then you're on what team?
So it's the Empire Strikers, which is, one of, I don't remember how many teams are in the league, but the Major Arena Soccer League. It's the highest tier of pro indoor soccer. There's like 5 tiers of indoor soccer, and it's the only professional tier at the top.
What?
Yeah, insane.
So did you have to like move to California
for 6 months? So they had the team had amazing accommodations. Like the owner owned a hotel. So the whole second floor of this hotel they made into the team wing where they had a kitchen and a lounge, and we each had our own individual room and training rooms and hot tubs.
How old is the average player on the Empire Strikers?
So I wasn't the oldest, so that's something. There was 2 people older than me, but the average was probably mid-20s, I would say. So the youngest I want to say was 21. Most were in the 20s, and there's probably 4 or 5 in the 30s, 1 in the 40s. One in the 40s played for the LA Galaxy. The one that was also my age played in the World Cup and played for Team Mexico, one of the top Mexican players of all time.
Dude, and like, was your story like spread throughout the league? Like, did people and did that make it harder or easier to build relationships with your teammates?
My teammates came, it didn't happen right away. And so again, I'm going into this environment and I'm very aware of like, they're going to be like, who the heck is this guy? And especially they all know my story because the league was actually using and promoting my page to promote the whole league. They even said they wanted me to be the face of the league, which was pretty cool. And I was, for the whole year in a lot of ways. But I made it a point from day one that I'm just going to be the first one there. I'm going to be the last one to leave. I'm going to be the hardest worker. And I'm going to get to know everyone on the team. I'm going to know their stories. I'm going to know their families. I'm going to know how I can pray for them. And so genuinely with every single person on the team, we became close friends. And the fact that we all lived on the same floor of a hotel.
That's kind of fun.
So it's like back in college.
Yeah.
And so it was the greatest experience. And our every teammate, I talk to several of them still every single day, even during the off season. And one of them just went with me to the Solomon Islands to a mission trip. So that was incredible. But anyway, it was the best experience.
What time frame is this?
October of last year, and then the season ended in April. And so the season's starting up, like camp is again right now, and I'm not on the team this year just by my own choice. Like I couldn't go be away from family again for 6 months. And so that kind of brings me where I am now, which is, I've played professionally now. Now I need to make a first division team somewhere in the world. And if it's not in Indiana, my whole family has to come with me, for a short season. And so that's I don't know how this miracle is going to happen or if it's going to happen. And,
Okay.
I'm trying not to force it. And I haven't forced anything along the way. So we'll see what happens.
So what, give me an example of a first division team.
So first division in America would be the MLS, and I don't know the names of a lot of the leagues overseas.
Okay, but this is like a top
division in the
the
countries.
MLS equivalent of the world.
Yeah. So I was just in New Zealand. I was talking with some of the New Zealand teams like Wellington Phoenix, which is their top division there. So I would be willing.
What?
I'd be willing, heck, to even get signed onto a practice squad to a high division team just to make that next jump and to see what could happen from there. Like willing to do whatever it would take to make that happen.
My brain is just like scrambled.
Yeah.
So you get drafted to a professional indoor league. I mean, you end up collaborating with the LA Galaxy.
That was crazy. So I have to give props where props are due. The one that made that relationship happen is a guy named Jack Downer, dear friend of mine. He's the #1 street footballer in the world.
Street footballer?
Yeah. You look him up. It's Street Panna on Instagram. Dude is a legend. Like he's Nutmeg Neymar. He's met just about every
What is
major
his name?
Street Panna, Panna. And so he was one of my teammates on the Empire Strikers. And just the most incredible guy. He was actually supposed to do a video with the Galaxy, but he was out of country in England working on his visa to try to get back. And so he told them like, hey, I can't do it, but you need to reach out to my friend Zach, who's World Cup dad, and he would be perfect for the video. So I didn't know what it was at the time. Come to find out, they're making their video for the 3-minute video they show before every single game, right before kickoff, which is like their feature short film that gets everyone hype. And they asked me and one other guy on my team to do it. And so
Why you guys?
well, because it was Jack's relationship. They wanted him, and then they didn't have anyone last second, and so he then advocated for me.
Yeah.
So he completely
But
opened
like,
that
why?
door.
Like, what did they have you do?
Oh, gotcha. So the video itself was like showing how LA has inspired soccer all over the city. So we went to like 15 locations over the city playing soccer to show how soccer is like infused within the culture. And so then they mixed and mingled that with the pro players from the Galaxy, like Marco Royce and Johnny Nelson and others, Gabriel Peck. And so we kind of did those things together. So the first day we did all these different locations filming. The second day we were with the team and the pros doing filming with them. And then they invited us to the suite to watch it on the first game day. And then from there, that's when I started building a great relationship, like with their chief branding officer, their marketing director, their PR director, and they kept inviting me back to do more. And so I just, relationships are everything.
Yeah.
And so they invited me back. We actually went to the presidential suite with the president of the team. And they like, this was amazing. They said, you know what, we want you to go on the field afterwards and do some filming, some content. We'll collab on it. So they went to where they didn't just go give me a jersey. They went to where they make their players' jerseys in-house. And they made me an official LA Galaxy kit, that the same ones that they make their players. So that was so special. Get like the Duke, it wasn't from the gift shop. Like it was their legit jerseys that they make from their team press. And so I go out on the field and I just do some filming, and it blew up. Like it's almost 26 million now, and it's the largest reel that the Galaxy has ever had, ever. And so that's another crazy thing is the Galaxy, the premier team in America, I have their largest reel. That makes no sense.
That's nuts.
A farm kid from Indiana
who never played
Who never played
soccer
soccer.
until You were in your 30s.
Again, the same thing of like the award I got at Liberty. I don't feel like I deserve it. And I think that's actually part of the story. That it's not about me. It's not about what I deserve. It's about really what is possible when you believe, when you know that it's not too late to quit. And so I'm just hoping that my story, people can have faith in God like never before, like David and Goliath. Like David didn't grow up in the army. David didn't go through the ranks. He wasn't a general. He didn't go through the training. He did not deserve to be fighting this giant because he did not do it the system's way. But he had faith that if he stepped out and do it, this giant would fall. And so that's really been my story. And I hope that others can take major risks by just seeing this as well.
This is truthfully insane.
It is. It is.
So what comes next?
That's the question. The real answer is I don't totally know. And I think that's part of the struggle and wrestle is I don't want to force this next step. I know the next step needs to be, or at least I think it needs to be, to play for a top division team somewhere. But, there could be other surprises along the way as well. But now I have a great relationship with FIFA as well. They're starting to invite me out to events already leading up to the World Cup. So who knows? Maybe I'll get a chance for the World Cup. Maybe they'll make me the chaplain for the team. I don't know.
Hey,
but I'm open to anything that would just help culminate this vision.
Yeah. This episode of Get In is sponsored by Accounted For, a team of Indiana CPAs who believe accounting should work for business owners, not against them. Instead of hourly bills and slow responses, Accounted For gives you everything tax, bookkeeping, consulting, and virtual CFO services under one fixed monthly fee. It's all cloud-based, transparent, and designed to keep your business moving without interruptions. You'll have direct access to a real CPA who knows your numbers and your goals because they think like business owners too. Learn more at accountedforcpa.com and tell them the Get In team sent you. Does training and playing still take priority, acting like a player, or is it like media, marketing, chaplain, like these other side? Like, are you still motivated to do your daily disciplines?
Yes.
Like, talk me through that.
Yeah.
Like, when you get to be, filming content with the LA Galaxy, it's like, well, why the heck do I need to wake up and kick a soccer ball? I could just make more videos.
That's an amazing question. From my perspective and from what I want to do, I'm pushing myself to keep training hard every day. I have increasing voices around me that want to make it about the media and marketing, but that's not necessarily what I want to do. And so that's the tension is like, I've had people like, you need to do a book, you need to do a movie, Netflix needs to do it. I'm like, man, they can if they want, but that's not why I'm doing this. That's not my heart behind it. And so like for me, making those videos and other things are the necessary evil. And that's not the right way to put it. It's not a necessary evil, but it helps the journey. Communication is getting the right message to the right people at the right time, And so I would encourage anybody in what they're doing. Why would you not push yourself to maximize every avenue and advantage that you can? So I think you need to do it. And frankly, I need to want to do that more. I need to, but that's been the tension for me is I just want to train.
I think the other piece about it is it's crazy. Like you gotta find the thing that's crazy and go start chasing that down.
Yeah.
If I think about a lot of these relatively normal people on the surface that have turned, that their stories have gotten picked up and they've done crazy things, they started this mission, this journey to do something that makes the average person say like, what the world?
Yeah.
Like I think a big one is Cameron Haynes. He's a bow hunter from Oregon. He's also an ultra marathoner.
Oh, sick.
And he was working at the water plant up in his hometown in Oregon. And he just started running to train to be the best bow hunter possible. He would run between a half marathon and a marathon every morning before work.
Holy moly.
And he did it for an extended, not like a week, not like a month, like for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
This guy was running 13 miles before work every day.
What a legend.
And he just and it was not to win a race. It was because I can have the most success bow hunting the deeper I get into the woods. And so I need to be able to get deep into the woods. I need to be able to pack out and be able to train.
See, it's those goals that push you beyond your limits. Like it's the deeper, not motivation, but the deeper why.
Yeah.
That keep you in it when it's hard. Because the question is what's going to make you quit? What's going to make it where it's too hard where you say, you know what, that's enough. And your why needs to be so real to you
Yeah.
that you can push through those boundaries.
Has there been a moment along this journey where you wanted to give up?
Many times. You know, I mean,
Like, is there one
many
that sticks out where it was like you were close to saying like, screw this, like I'll just do normal people stuff?
I've not gotten that far, and mainly because of my wife. On the days when I've been down, she's like, "Oh no, you're not quitting. Get back up. The husband that you're becoming, I love, and you need to commit to this, and you're doing this." So she's been the number one cheerleader. So like thankfully she doesn't let me get too down.
Has there been a moment where your kids have looked at you and said, "Dad, this is so cool"?
Oh yeah.
Like, what was the moment where you were like, man, it's getting through. Like, my kids are seeing this example that I'm setting.
So 2 moments that stick out to me. One is my son came to me, who's 6 years old. Just turned 7. And he came to my wife and I, and he's like, hey, I just wrote out my daily routine. What? We never told him to do that. I don't even know if I ever showed him mine. But people do what they see, not what they hear. And so because my life changed in the home, starting from the home, my kids pick up on that. So seeing that now he wants to cultivate habits and disciplines, and he's doing it. And then another one is seeing my kids, like I just woke up one day and my daughter was outside running laps around the house. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I need to start training. You know, so simple things like that where everything that they see me doing, they want to emulate. And that's for better or for worse. And so I might as well have good models that I have. And I've straight up asked them because I get, you know, as you can imagine, if you try to do anything of significance, you're going to have increasing amount of haters. That's part of the territory. And so I had one person just say, how's it going to feel one day when you wake up and your kids see that you're a total failure? And I just laughed, and I was right next to my kids, and I just read it out loud to them, like, hey kids, how would you feel if daddy totally failed, didn't make the World Cup, and everyone thought I was an idiot? They would say, so? That's what they said. I'm like, perfect.
There you go.
Perfect.
That is the unfortunate piece, is so many people are quick to have the keyboard fingers.
Yeah.
And those are the people that also are not willing to put themselves out there.
Yep.
They're not willing to, dream crazy,
Yeah.
shoot for the stars, and end up on the moon.
Yeah.
Truthfully, man.
And what's been encouraging to me, I would say it's probably about 80-20. Like 80% of people in the soccer world have been so encouraged and encouraging to me, like, keep going. Probably 20-ish% have not. But what I've seen is people that have played at the top levels have been the most encouraging. Like the most encouraging. Keep going. This is incredible. These are stories that we need. I haven't had one person at the top level.
Yeah, and it's like, it's the classic, don't let the hate from people you wouldn't ask advice for, affect you.
Yeah.
It's like, if I'm, like, why am I going to let your opinion of this or like your thoughts? It's like, I wasn't asking you for advice anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, but if
it's part of it.
I don't know if if Ronaldo starts like commenting on your stuff saying quit, like, okay.
I would be like, freaking Ronaldo's talking to me. This
Yeah,
is
right.
amazing.
But it's like they won't do that.
They
Just
won't.
like you're not going on the high school soccer player saying like, give up your dreams of the World Cup, dude. Like, no.
Like when people say be realistic. Okay, great. I understand that. But I'm going to cheer on anybody who puts in the work for their dream. Why would I want to tear that down? Even if you fail miserably. If you're like the bow hunter, if you're willing to put in the work to do something, I'm ready to champion
Dude,
that.
and a lot of it comes from just being silly enough to keep going. Like
It
kind
is.
of like
It
just
is.
being crazy enough to like keep going and find. And yes, what you say in the beginning, like, I'm on a mission to do blah, blah, blah. It might not end up exactly the way that you think it will.
Yeah, rarely it will.
But like it can open doors that you never even expected.
Yeah.
It can get you places. Like you could end up at the end of this when you retire, because you'll have to retire from your professional career.
Yep.
You could become, I don't know, like the chief marketing officer of the MLS.
Yeah.
Like they could come and say, hey, or you could become a spokesperson, a commentator on Apple TV for the MLS.
At this point, it's not far-fetched because I have relationships in both of those
like that's
spaces.
not that crazy.
It's not.
But if, 5 years ago they would have said, yeah, I'm going to end up like chatting it up with the greatest soccer players in the world and like, filming with the LA Galaxy, people would have looked at you like you had a head growing out of your neck.
If you would have told me 3 years ago all that would have happened up until this moment, I would have been like, you're out of your mind. There's no way all of that happened. Like,
And it wouldn't have happened if you would have posted 3 times and given up.
it wouldn't have, 100%. And I probably would still be stuck in the same bad habits. I would regret quitting.
Yeah.
But I will never, ever, ever regret not quitting and seeing this through no matter how it ends. I just won't.
Yeah. How
Because-
do you think it ends?
The two main things that have really struck me on this journey is this. One is the relationships I've built along the way. I cannot imagine not having the relationships I have now of people I call my dearest friends if I would have not taken this risk.
Yeah.
So if you don't, like you might only see A to B, but if you don't move to B, you'll never see C.
Yeah.
And that's real. And so the relationships I have now are huge. But something I've asked everywhere I've gone is like, hey, what's one thing you want to see changed just in soccer in general in America? Because I'm coming from the football perspective, right? I think more football people, basketball people need to get on board with this beautiful sport. Why would you not, as a soccer community, want an outsider to say, hey guys, this is awesome. We need to come know what this sport is because we're over here in basketball and football. Keep loving that. Keep doing that. But check this out too. Like, I'm an outsider saying that this is amazing. These guys are incredible athletes. But the biggest burden and roadblock I see is that the sport is so expensive for the youth. It's so expensive. And so there's this massive gap between people that actually get to play the sport at a high level when you're, 10, 12, 13 years old. So I think my long-term play, that would be super meaningful to me. And we've already started this. I'm 6 months into it. I've already hired 2 people to be part of this team. But we're calling it anyone's game. And anyone's game is a way for everyone to be the solution, for everyone to subsidize the prices for team players and to scholarship less fortunate kids who don't get to play. For me, to open the door of access for people is the dream.
Yeah, I will say youth soccer, actually youth sports in general, is just crazy.
Yeah.
But like when you think about it, it's like all you really need is a ball and some goals.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
not like you got
it's outrageously expensive.
Yeah.
And I don't want to throw any shade at clubs or directors because they didn't build the system. I actually know the opposite is true, that they want to help. They want to be part of the solution. And so we've been building this program now that clubs can be a part of, municipalities can be a part of, churches can be a part of, where if everyone just gives $1, they can be the one and have $1 donation over, like using my audience of almost 140,000 people, to say if everyone just gives a little bit to this, we can impact thousands of kids.
Yeah.
And that's only going to continue to grow.
Absolutely. I love it, dude. It's an incredible story thus far. I'm really when are selections for the World Cup?
By and large, a lot of that is happening, is already happening based on just like the coach and the teams that you're on and the different qualifications. And so it's looking really, really tough for me right now, just to be straight up honest.
Yeah.
And so most people would say, Zach, see, it's already too late. But I just think that there's always a way that people don't see. There's always another way. And so like whatever that way is, like people can make, well, this is the way that it's always done. Why is it always done that way? If that coach can make a decision later on, can he do it? Well, yeah, technically he can. But so anyway.
Let's say you were an honorary captain for one of the early games and you got to just like go out and be there. Yes, that's not the original goal, but that's still so cool.
Why would I not be insanely pumped to not do that? Why would
why would anyone be like, oh my gosh, you did all this work and you only became the honorary team captain for a game?
They would say that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
I would crazy.
But I would do that with so much, like that would be just a cherry on top of the journey.
And above it all, 3 years of this, you're a different person.
Totally different person.
Like when your wife looks at you and says, you are becoming the husband, you're becoming the father, or I really like this version of you, or I like who you're becoming. I think that was the quote you said. Like, well, yeah, why would you stop?
Yeah, and I'm not. Like, even after, quote unquote, retire from soccer, I'm not going to stop with these habits, these disciplines, training. Like, one of my long-term goals is I want to be able to sprint when I'm 90.
Run a 5-second 40 when you're 90. That would be crazy.
That would be nuts. I'd be happy with a 6-second probably when I'm 90. But with that goal in mind, I'm thinking generationally. So I want to continue to have
Dude,
big
if you got
goals
out
that
and
push
cooked
me.
your great grandson when you were 90,
Bring it on.
that
Come
would
on.
be wild.
Come
I
on.
love it, dude. This has been so fun. We've come to the end of the show where we have a few of our segment questions where we talk all about the state of Indiana.
Yes.
This first question is brought to you by our friends at JC Hart. They are a leader in creating enjoyable living experiences at apartment communities all across Indiana and beyond. Check them out at homeisjcart.com. My question for you, Zach, why do you call Indiana home?
Oh, easy. I love being the best salesman of Indiana to my friends. So it's a day's drive from 2/3 of America. It's some of the most beautiful land, sunsets, best people. Like where we live, we're close to the city, the suburbs, and the rural area, have the best airport in the country, the best, food in the country, the zoo. I went there this week, top rated zoo. I mean, so many good things to say. IU football's on fire right now. Notre Dame, Purdue. I mean, we have so many things going for our state, but at the end of the day, my family's been here for 8 generations, 9 generations now. And there's just no place like home, no place like Hoosier hospitality.
9 generations. Incredible. I love that, man. You talk about the daily disciplines and the daily routine and the daily habit. What are a couple pieces of advice that you have for someone out there that's looking to level up their daily routine?
If you're looking to do that, you're probably in a place of a little bit of discouragement. And so whatever your macro goal is, break that up into small micro goals and don't try to hit them perfectly. So what are 5 daily things that you can write down today that if you do these 5 things every day for the next month will radically change your life? It could be, eating whole foods. It could be waking up an hour earlier. It could be just showing up at the gym. And all you're doing, you're just checking the box. Just check that you did it. At the end of each week, give yourself a % on what you did, and then try to beat that next week.
Yeah.
Those 5. So if you just do that, it'll change.
So let's look at that. If it was 5 habits, if you picked 5 things, 7 days a week, that'd be 35 check marks that you're looking for.
Yes.
Let's say you get 20 week 1, try to get 21 week 2, try to get 25 week 3, and just keep building up those check marks.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah, it's gamifiable, it's doable, and you can focus on the process and not the result.
Yeah, man. What's the craziest thing you've learned about soccer thus far along your journey?
In Argentina, where there is a lot of fierce rivalry and even like death threats, that I have friends that were in Argentina that used it to broker peace between entire cities. So that was a really cool thing I learned about soccer.
It's the world's game, right?
It's the world's game. And then another thing I've seen in Africa and Asia, that they're using it to get kids out of poverty, out of violence. And so just using it for community development is one of the best tools.
I don't know if they're doing more spinoffs or whatever, but a cameo in a Ted Lasso episode would be phenomenal.
Well, so one of the Fútbol is Life guy followed me.
Danny Rojas?
Yeah, Danny Rojas. It's like life, like journey's done.
There you go.
Journey is done. Fútbol is Life has followed me. So
that's sick.
If you watch this, Danny Rojas, hey, get me on the next show.
Yeah, just a cameo.
Just a cameo.
It's like you pop up and are shooting a TikTok with that would be.
You can even kick me in the face. I'll do whatever.
Yeah, I love that. That would be so funny. All right, these are the same 3 questions we ask everyone who comes on the show, all about the state of Indiana. So soccer is the world's game. And as you're traveling the world and people are hearing about you being from Indiana, what's something the world needs to know about Indiana?
Besides, we have the best pork tenderloins in the world. They're
Come
the
on.
absolute best. I would say we have the best fan base in America. Like our fanatics for the Colts, for the Hoosiers, Purdue, Notre Dame.
The Pacers.
The Pacers, yeah, I can't forget the Pacers. Not only the best fans, but the classiest fans.
There we go. Absolutely. Amen. Next, this is your chance to share a little love about a place that more people in the state of Indiana need to know about. What is a hidden gem in Indiana?
Main Street Coffee in Spencer, Indiana. #1 coffee shop in the state, hands down.
How did you find this?
So we found it going to Cataract Falls, which is a really cool waterfall spot, and about 20 minutes away is this coffee shop. And I'm telling you, like, makeshift new menu every day, homemade food, the best coffee, and it's run by a single family where the husband and the wife and the kids all work there. The most incredible people. And so if you're like,
oh my gosh,
it's worth going to this place.
They have like a brown paper where they roll it down every day and they write new specials.
That's right.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
I'm an absolute coffee snob, and I'm telling you, it's the #1 coffee shop in the state.
Main Street Coffee in Spencer. I've driven past this before.
Have you?
It's right, but it's like a block off their town square.
It's right on the square.
Right
on the square.
Right. Okay, I've definitely, because I was going to, Spencer's pretty close to McCormick's Creek.
Yes.
Also. Wow. Main Street Coffee, Spencer, Indiana. I've never got that one before. Great hidden gem. Finally, this is your chance to share the love with someone across the state that more people need to know about. These are where we get guest recommendations, things like that. Who's a Hoosier we need to keep on our radar? Someone who's doing big things.
DeMarcus Beasley up in Fort Wayne, who's probably he played in the World Cup, played for the U.S. men's national team, probably the most notorious soccer player in the state. I think he owns the Fort Wayne team as well up there. So he'd be a great person to get on the show.
I did see something about him recently, maybe on Instagram, because they're like bringing a new team or like something big with the teams going on up in Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
This has been an honor.
It's
hearing
been so fun.
Hearing your story, learning about, from rock bottom to chasing down this dream. I think that it's an inspiring story to know that it's never too late to go and chase down your dream and to, dream big.
Yeah.
Like bigger than you could have ever even imagined.
Absolutely.
But it's all broken down into these little steps. Like taking the little steps every single day towards your goal. That's what's going to make big things happen. I had such a great time hanging out with you today. If people want to find you, where can they do that?
The simplest and best place is Instagram, World Cup Dad. I have other channels, but that's the main one that I really go to.
Yeah, man. I love it. This has been so much fun. Keep up the good work. We will be rooting for you.
Thank you.
Cannot wait to see where this journey takes you next.
Come on. Thank you so much, man.
This show is made possible by our friends up at Sweetwater. Whether you're looking to start a podcast or take your content to the next level, click the link in the description to see all my gear recommendations at Sweetwater. If you want a behind-the-scenes look at everything we're doing across the state, make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Nate Spangle. Thank you so much for listening and being a part of what makes the Hoosier State great. We'll see you next time here on Get In.